What's up, guys? Welcome to A Reseller's Life. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for joining me. In this episode, we're going to go over 10 ways to get your inventory in order in 2020. This is going to take a lot of stress off your plate, and a mess can definitely leave you feeling paralyzed. So take a deep breath, and I'm going to go over the top 10 ways to get your inventory in order. Let's get straight into it. So number one, start small. Start in increments of 15 minutes. This has been very helpful for me, not just for organizing inventory, but also for working on accounting or working on legal or working on things that seem overwhelming. Start small, schedule a small 15-minute increment, try to do it earlier in the day, and then slowly increase that depending on how big your mess is. But again, it always starts small. Eat an elephant one bite at a time. That's the very first thing. Take a deep breath, start small. Number two, if you're working on inventory, I recommend separating it into individual boxes. This is really satisfying and gets the process going. So what I do is I separate a room into different piles of stuff that I need to organize. I recommend you do the whole room at the same time. If you're going to do a bedroom that has a bunch of inventory or garage, you could try doing the entire thing, separating it into small piles or at least separate piles first. Okay, now you have things boxed up and orderly. You need an area to process this stuff. So I recommend at least 1/3 of your working space is completely empty, clutter-free, and you can work and start processing this stuff, and it's going to go into basically 3 piles. Throw it away, donate it, or sell it, list it, right? So once you have an actual space where you can work, you can start processing. And this is really important. Without this space, it just is too overwhelming to look at that pile. You're not going to do anything. So find a designated clear space to process. And this is the same thing when you're working on a hard mental challenge. Go somewhere, go to a coffee shop, go to the library, somewhere quiet that you can really think. Number 4, this is my favorite one. Create the habit of donating 1 box a day. In your house, you can start with just 1 item a day. That's what I did at home, and until there was nothing else to donate. All the things in my condo are very intentional. So donating 1 item a day at home or 1 box a day of your inventory can quickly get rid of this inventory. 30 days later, you'll have 30 less boxes that are donated to Goodwill. If you do the double whammy method, which is donate a box and list a box every single day, now you're 60 boxes less every single month, and it's not going to take very long for you to get rid of that pile. And you need a designated inventory system, so once you list it, you need to put it away somewhere where you can find it. Otherwise, you're going to spend tons of time looking for things, and that's a big waste of time. Also, recognize at this point that things didn't get this way overnight. It's been months or years of neglecting this situation for it to get this big, so it's not going to go away overnight. Just be patient, take your time. Habits take time to build. If you get a month at a glance calendar, you can put a big red X for every day that you accomplish listing a box and donating a box, and that's a really good habit to get into. Number 4 and 5 are donating a box and listing a box each day. Number 6 is to raise your ASP over time. What this means is you're going to raise the average selling price of the items that you sell over time, and that's going to reduce the number of items that you purchase. At the thrift store, I would say that more than 90% of the items, maybe 95% of the items, are going to sell for less than $30. And so what happens is people end up buying items for $1 or $2 that they want to sell for $20, and over time that turns into a death pile or a money pile or an unintentional savings account, whatever you want to call that. But if you just raise your ASP over $30, usually you do not have a death pile because it just takes a long time to accumulate stuff over $30. If you're in the habit of listing a box a day, which shouldn't be too overwhelming. If you can't list a box a day, you shouldn't be a reseller. That's not that difficult. You should be able to incorporate that into your daily routine. If you only want to buy, you need to work for someone who is a reseller. That way you can focus 100% of your time on sourcing, and that person is going to require you to increase your ASP over time. I'm not taking in any items under $30 from consignment because it's too much work to list it, prep it, deal with returns. So I recommend a smaller, more expensive resale store. You can do the fast-paced, low average selling price if you like, but I just, from my previous experience, I see people who do that end up having way more stuff than they can actually list, because instead of having only 10% of stuff to choose from at the thrift store, now like 25% of the store you're bringing home. I think that out of every 100 items, only one or two should match your criteria when you go to the store. Number 7, focusing on replenishables versus one-off items takes time. So the 10 by 10 by 10 model, which is 10 items that sell 10 times a day for $10 profit, that takes years to build. That's a lifetime goal. It might take you 6 months to get one replenishable. So take your time on that. But if you focus your efforts on that, you won't buy one-off items. You'll realize, I don't want to do that. I want to buy something that I can sell over and over and over again. I have products that sell every single day. That's why I am more at peace, because I don't have to hunt every single day. I don't have to do that. I still like that concept because one-off stores have great sell-through rate, and they're also more stable than stores that are replenishable, because you can lose your replenishable. It's not like you find one and set it and forget it. There's still competition coming in and out. If it's really popular and really hot, that means it's even more likely to be taken away from you. So slowly take your time. Focusing on replenishables will reduce the amount of stuff that you end up buying. Number 8, maintaining a tidy space is much easier than cleaning up. So in the end, it just ends up, you want to be tidy. You want to have certain areas for certain things. You have areas where you put things away. You have areas that are going to be prepped. That's why I recommend 1/3 of your space being completely empty. Bring your stuff there to process. It's going to sit there in this big space, and you're going to want to get rid of it. You're going to process it, list it, donate it, sell it, put it away, and it's out of that space. Having that clear, clutter-free zone is going to go huge. So maintaining that is much easier than repairing and putting things away once it gets out of hand. Tidying means putting it back every single time. Number 9 is wholesaling to other resellers. As you guys know, I have now just set up a wholesale portal. You can check it out at dailyrefinement.com/wholesale. I'm going to have at least 10 lots up every single week. This week there's 23 lots. And that'll be a good way for you to look at how people are selling their excess inventory to other resellers, or buying some for yourself. But again, this video is more about getting rid of stuff that you have too much of. So again, wholesaling to other resellers is great. You can put up a Craigslist ad, Facebook Marketplace. Hey, I'm selling, etc. Put it up there. Find your buyers. Get rid of your stuff that way. Focus on just selling one type of thing, and then don't buy anything else, and then it'll keep churning. If you end up getting other stuff in lots, make sure that you wholesale that to somebody else or put it on an ad locally. Get rid of it. Focus, or really reduce it. Ultimately, if you look at people who are the most clutter-free lives, they only really just sell a few products over and over again. I am now really taking some insight from Chipotle franchise. It's not like necessarily my favorite food, but I like how that business is set up. We were doing some homework last night in the Patreon group, and an average Chipotle does $5 million in sales and $250,000 net for the franchise owner. So that's about 5% profit on something that sells like crazy. There's long lines at Chipotle where I live. I don't know where you guys are at. It's not like it used to be in the heyday a few years ago, but it's still very busy, and they average 500 customers a day. That's a lot of volume, selling the same things over and over again. But I like that because you get to look at the streamlined process of just selling a few things super well, versus like Taco Bell is the menu is very cluttered. It's very different than Chipotle, which is very straightforward, and it seems like very easy to train people to do. So number 10, this one is a huge one, and this is maybe the cause of your buying issue. It usually, this concept of retail therapy, it works. If you're feeling lonely or you're feeling hungry or you're feeling whatever and you go to the store, you're going to end up buying too much. That's just how it is. This is why you don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry. So I recommend before you go sourcing, eat, try to exercise, give someone a hug. Otherwise, you might end up buying stuff that you don't really want just to feel that hit of adrenaline. So I feel like I have to quote Jeffrey in my Patreon group, who says that most people are not actually resellers. They're just professional buyers. They consider themselves really good at buying. And I'm here to burst your bubble. That doesn't matter. Being really great at buying doesn't equal anything. You need to be really good at selling. People who are really good at selling have totally different lives than people who are really good at buying. That skill is not necessary. There's tons of people. There's tons and tons and tons of people who are great at buying and very, very few people who are great at selling. You need to flip your thinking and say, I am a great seller. Reprogram your brain. I'm a great buyer means I don't have any money in my bank account and I have a house full of stuff that's not sold. Honestly, from me meeting tons of people, when I hear I'm a great buyer, I immediately think, wow, your store is probably really small, because you're spending so much time buying and not working on your business. So I appreciate that, guys. This is meant to be a positive video. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below what you're going to do to deal with the items that you have that are not listed. Let me know if you even have any. Maybe this video doesn't reach anybody because no one has things that they haven't listed before. But just to summarize, start small. Separate your inventory in the different sections, hopefully of like items. Designate a completely clutter-free processing area. Donate a box a day. List a box a day. Raise your average selling price over time. Focus on replenishables. Maintain a tidy space versus trying to clean it up. Wholesale boxes to other resellers. And eat, exercise, give someone a hug, be nice, be kind, so that you're feeling more emotionally full before you go shopping. So I appreciate you guys' time. Make progress daily. Take care.